Welcome back to Enablement Uncanned. You know that feeling when you're just drowning in information?
Oh, yeah.
Articles, reports, decks piling up,
Yeah.
all promising something, but you're just wading through trying to find that one thing that actually helps.
Absolutely. It's like, you know the answer's in there somewhere, but finding it,
Yeah.
that's the challenge. It's exhausting.
It really is. And look, if that sounds familiar, you'll definitely get something out of our deep dive today, especially if you're anywhere near the world of sales. Because buyers today, they're swamped, absolutely bombarded with generic messages, and frankly, they're just over it.
They really are. They expect more. They want something personal.
Exactly. So our mission today is cutting through all that noise. You sent over some great sources from Bigtincan, 2 articles, right?
Yeah, that's right. One called Sales Content, Creation and Management Essentials, and another one, the 4-step playbook for managing sales content like a solutions marketer.
Okay, great. So what we want to do in this deep dive is pull out the really key actionable stuff from those.
Yep. Give you a clear roadmap, how to create, manage, and importantly, use your sales content so it actually hits home with buyers.
Yeah.
Drives real results.
We're talking about getting way beyond that old one-size-fits-all approach that just doesn't cut it anymore.
Exactly, light years beyond it.
Okay, so let's dig in. The first big point from these sources, it's why generic stuff just fails now.
Right. And it's tied to expectations, isn't it? We expect personalization everywhere else.
Totally. Your streaming service knows what you like. Your Maps app suggests a dinner. But the sources point to something deeper in sales. It's not just like convenience. It's about trust.
Yeah, perceived value, credibility. If you send out something generic, especially now with AI making content so easy to generate, it just screams, I haven't bothered to understand you.
And that's a terrible first impression. Erodes trust right away.
It really does. And it's fascinating how standard this expectation has become. It's not a nice to have.
No way. It's the baseline.
Think about it. You pitch a retail CIO, they care about scalability, customer journey, maybe omnichannel stuff.
Right.
And you use the exact same pitch for a healthcare IT director who's worried about HIPAA, data security, integrating EHRs.
You've already lost.
Instantly lost.
Yeah.
Their problems are just completely different. Generic content basically shouts, I don't get your world.
And that's tough to come back from, that loss of credibility.
Yeah.
It's huge. But okay, quick question though. Is there ever a time when maybe less personalization is okay? Like super early, top of funnel awareness? Or is it just always expected now?
That's a really good point, and something people definitely wrestle with.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe for really broad initial awareness, you could argue it's less critical.
Perhaps.
But the sources really push back on that. They suggest that the moment a buyer shows even a tiny bit of interest, that expectation for tailoring just shoots up.
Right.
Even that first touch point benefits from some segmentation.
Sure.
Just by industry, maybe. Because the cost of being generic isn't just, wasting your time.
It's losing the chance to connect.
Exactly. Losing that chance to build rapport, show you're relevant. The foundation, like the sources say, is proving you understand their world. Ditch the one-size-fits-all. Build content that solves their specific problems.
It's not optional anymore. It's strategic necessity. That's where it all starts.
Absolutely. That's step 1.
Okay, so we've established the why. Personalization is crucial. So logically, the first strategic step the sources point to is really getting to know your audience. Segmenting them.
And not just basic personas.
Yeah.
Job titles aren't enough.
Right. It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. The sources stress understanding company size, sure, but also the actual problems that keep these people up at night. What are they struggling with? And how do they make decisions? The more specific you get,
the better you can tailor the content.
Precisely. It's like hitting a bullseye with a laser instead of just spraying shots hoping something lands.
Okay, so if we're aiming for that bullseye, what criteria are most important? According to the sources, where should people really focus their segmentation efforts?
Good question. The sources lay out 4 key areas. First, role or profile. C-suite thinks differently than IT or finance or an end user. Their needs are totally different.
Makes sense.
Second, industry or vertical. Manufacturing versus healthcare versus finance. Fundamental differences. Third, company size or status. Startup versus SMB versus big enterprise. Different pains, different budgets.
Okay.
And fourth, crucially, funnel stage. Where are they in the buying process? New prospect needs awareness. Nurturing stage needs value props. Closing needs proof, like case studies.
Wow, okay. That sounds like a lot. especially if you're not a huge team. How do you actually do that without getting completely bogged down?
Yeah, that's a very real concern. And the sources have good advice there.
Yeah.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Right. Start smaller.
Exactly. Prioritize. Look at your most common audiences or your highest value ones. Use your CRM data. Or just ask your sales team. They know who they're talking to most often.
They're on the front lines.
Absolutely. Then dig into the specific problems for those priority segments. Talk to your salespeople. Talk to your customers. Ask them straight up, what are your biggest priorities? What kind of content actually helps you decide?
What would make your life easier?
Yeah, get that direct input. Then you can build out messaging templates for each segment. Guides consistency. And make sure you specify what content types fit which stage of their journey.
And this is where technology can really help, right? Take some of the load off. The sources mention platforms like Bigtincan automating this.
Yeah, it's a huge help. Automating that audience categorization. It pulls from CRM, interaction history, even what they look at on your website.
And suggests relevant content automatically.
Exactly. So say the system sees a prospect as an IT director in healthcare from their CRM record.
Yeah.
It tags them and might suggest, I don't know, a compliance case study or a security brief.
Okay.
But if it sees head of ops, retail, it might pull up a deployment roadmap for retail or an ROI calculator focused on customer experience.
So it takes the guesswork out for the rep. They don't have to manually figure it out each time.
Right. Puts the most relevant stuff right there. Frees them up to actually, sell.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense.
Right.
So you've defined your segments, you know what they need. But then, the big one, how do you actually create all this personalized content at scale? That sounds like a mountain of work.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that leads perfectly into step 2 from the sources, using AI, harnessing AI for personalized content creation.
Ah, the AI solution.
Because, trying to make bespoke content for every single buyer variation manually, that sounds like a total slog. Just not sustainable.
So AI is the game changer here, but what's the biggest misunderstanding people have about how AI helps with this? Is it really just magic, creating everything perfectly from thin air?
That's a great point. And no, it's not magic. The biggest misconception is probably thinking AI replaces humans entirely or just, poof, makes stuff from scratch. What the sources make clear is AI's real power here is making personalization scalable. It does that by cleverly repurposing the content you already have.
Ah, so it's about leveraging existing assets.
Exactly. And filling the gaps quickly. It's about efficiency plus effectiveness. You're not starting from zero every single time. You're making your existing library work smarter, harder, and faster.
Can you give a concrete example? How does that actually play out?
Sure. Let's say a rep needs to talk to a CFO in manufacturing. Instead of them spending hours tweaking a standard deck.
Right.
AI can take your existing pitch content and automatically whip up a version. It'll highlight cost savings, adjust the language, maybe swap in examples relevant to manufacturing finance, all based on the rules you set.
And the Hynotrex case study mentioned in the sources ties into this.
Yeah, beautifully. It wasn't just about customizing content, it was about the speed of adaptation. That became their edge. Their dealers could shift messaging almost instantly based on market changes or specific customer needs.
Something impossible before.
Totally impossible at that speed. So AI delivered agility, not just personalization. It lets you respond precisely and rapidly. That's huge.
Incredibly powerful speed and relevance. Okay, so now you've used AI, you've got this amazing library of tailored content, but what good is it if your reps can't find it when they need it?
Exactly. That's the next big hurdle.
I can just picture reps thinking, okay, great content exists somewhere. How do I find the right piece right now?
Yeah, that leads us straight to step 3. Automatically surfacing the content for reps. Because that rep dilemma is so real. Wasting precious selling time, digging through shared drives, old folders, Slack channels.
Well, I've been there, searching for that one case study, exists somewhere.
Right. It's time down the drain that can be spent actually talking to buyers. It's like having the perfect spice in your kitchen, but having no clue where it is or if it's even still good.
Huh. Yeah, exactly. So how do these platforms solve that? How do they get the right stuff to the reps easily?
Well, this is where sales content platforms really earn their keep. They have features specifically designed for this. Think about tags. They're not just for organizing. They're like a GPS for reps. Filter by persona, industry, sales stage boom, finds it instantly.
Cut through the clutter.
Totally. And then AI-powered search. It's like having a personal research assistant. Type in a few details, and it pulls up a curated list. Saves so much time.
Okay.
Plus, smart recommendations. The system learns what content works well in similar deals and suggests it. So it's not just relevant content, it's proven content.
That's smart.
And digital sales rooms, or DSRs. Reps can bundle all the relevant pieces, decks, videos, case studies, into one personalized link for the buyer. A single, tailored experience.
And things like version control too, right? So marketing updates a slide and it updates everywhere.
Crucial. No more reps accidentally using old, outdated info. And engagement tracking, seeing what the buyer actually looks at, what they share. That's gold for follow-up.
So paint that picture. A rep's getting ready for a call, say, with a big enterprise IT lead in healthcare. How does this work in practice?
Okay, so the rep pulls up the contact. A tool like Bigtincan's Genie AI sees enterprise IT, healthcare. Instantly, it suggests, here's the perfect case study, here's a product sheet focused on compliance, and here's a short intro deck tailored for that profile.
I'll just. No searching needed.
Pretty much. Ready to go. And this creates that vital feedback loop too.
How so?
Well, marketing sees what content is actually getting used and engaged with, so they can make better content in the future. And enablement can see what top reps are using successfully and coach others.
Data-driven improvement, making sure everything pulls its weight.
Exactly. Moving from just creating content blindly to strategically optimizing it based on real results.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting reps the right segmented content. Now, step 4 pushes even further. Enabling more granular personalization.
Right, because even content segmented by industry or role can sometimes feel a bit, well, generic-ish, if it's for someone like you instead of truly for you.
Tailoring it to reflect what you actually talked about, their specific priorities, that's where you build serious credibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what's the biggest challenge here? When companies try to get this granular, where do they usually stumble? It can't be easy.
No, you're right. It's definitely not always smooth. I think the biggest pitfall is assuming sellers will just know how to do this granular personalization effectively, or that just having the tools is enough.
So it needs training, a mindset shift.
Exactly. You need to enable them. The sources mention several techniques for this, like content assembly, pulling bits from different places, videos, slides, PDFs, into one smooth custom flow.
Okay.
And the ability to easily reorder or hide slides in a deck. Super important for focusing on what matters to this specific customer. Cut out the noise.
Makes sense. Less is often more there.
Definitely. And then even more personal stuff like text and image editing, letting reps quickly add the prospect's company name or logo right into the presentation. Small touch, big impact.
Yeah, shows you put in the effort.
Plus, document automation. Using templates linked to CRM data to generate customized quotes or proposals easily, fills in the specifics automatically.
Saves a ton of time and reduces errors.
And those personalized microsites, again, the digital sales rooms, giving buyers their own curated space with only the stuff that's hyper-relevant to them, makes it interactive.
So the key is training sellers how to use these features strategically.
Precisely. Train them, for example, to always include maybe a what we heard from you slide. Shows they listen during discovery.
Good one.
Or how to quickly drop in relevant client logos or specific use cases that mirror the prospect situation. It turns a standard pitch into a real conversation. Shows you did your homework.
Proves your relevance in a very direct way.
Exactly. Okay, so you've created this super tailored, relevant content. You've delivered it. But how do you know if it actually worked? Did they even look at it?
The moment of truth.
Right. Which brings us to the final step. Step 5, using those engagement insights to guide what you do next. Because sending a deck and just hoping, that's guessing. And nobody wants to guess in sales.
Absolutely not. This step is all about taking the guesswork out. Dynamic analytics are key here.
Giving you real data.
Clear, actionable data. What did the buyer actually click on? How long did they spend on that pricing slide? What did they ignore completely? What did they maybe forward to their boss?
That's powerful stuff.
It's huge. And it's not just for that one deal. This insight drives your whole content strategy. Maybe you learned that enterprise healthcare buyers really dig into analyst reports.
While mid-market tech buyers prefer short, snappy decks.
Exactly. So marketing knows where to invest their time and resources next. Aligning content creation with what actually moves the needle.
It's funny how much this mirrors our own expectations as consumers now, isn't it? We want curated, relevant stuff everywhere.
It's totally the consumerization of B2B, no doubt.
So for the listener, thinking about this actionable data, what are the really crucial metrics the sources say to track, and how does that empower the reps?
Okay, key metrics mentioned include content usage rate. Are reps even using this stuff? Engagement time. How long are buyers actually spending with it? Sharing stats is getting passed around internally. And The big one, impact on revenue. Does using certain content correlate with winning deals?
These aren't just nice-to-know numbers.
Not at all. They directly empower refs. Imagine getting a notification the second your prospect opens a proposal. You can follow up right then.
Timely.
Or seeing they spent 5 minutes on the ROI slide that tells you exactly what to focus on in your next conversation. It's like having, I don't know, X-ray vision into the buyer's interest level.
Lets you tailor the follow-up with precision. Move the deal forward intelligently.
Exactly. No more flying blind.
Okay, so let's just pull this all together. What we've really unpacked today is this powerful tech-enabled strategy for sales content. It's a whole journey.
It really is. From getting super precise with audience segmentation, using AI smartly for creation, making sure reps can find and use the content seamlessly.
Then enabling that really granular personal tailoring.
And finally, closing the loop by using data, those engagement insights, to guide everything. It's a complete ecosystem.
Designed to actually connect with buyers on their terms.
Yeah, it fundamentally shifts the whole sales conversation, doesn't it? From a generic pitch nobody wants.
To a valuable dialogue.
Yeah.
Solving their problems.
Because you've shown you actually understand their world, their challenges. It's about sharing relevant solutions, not just pushing product.
So the big question for you listening, what does this all mean for your world? How could you maybe apply some of these ideas? Understanding your audience better, using smart tools, learning from engagement.
Even outside of strict sales content, maybe. In any communication.
Yeah. What's maybe one small step you could take this week to make whatever you're communicating feel more personally tailored, more impactful? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening to Uncanned.